I call myself and my crew the action unit, and I'm the action unit director. Second units were in the old days where people would go out and they'd shoot a sunrise or a sunset. We actually, as an action unit, go out and shoot complete action sequences. In conjunction with the main unit, we very often, as we did on Mummy 3 here, we shot a chase sequence, and then the main unit will come in and put the actors into it. Sometimes we go out and we shoot a main sequence and put the actors into it as well. So an action unit is basically exactly what it is. It's shooting the action.
Now, in Mummy 1 and Mummy 2, the action, the stunts, the special effects, it's just incredible. What can we expect from Mummy 3?
I think Mummy 1 and Mummy 2 are fantastic films. They set the standard and everything else. I think Rob Cohen has had a great vision for Mummy 3, and we've flip-flopped it around, and we have the huge amount of physical stunts in it. Whilst they had quite a lot of physical stunts in Mummy 1 and 2, they had a huge amount of CG, computer-generated images. We have a lot of computer-generated images, but there's an awful huge amount of interaction with real life. So I think ours will have a lot more physical, real stunts, plus CGI.
So for the martial arts fans, the kung fu fans, you think there'll be a lot of fighting that would really make them happy?
Definitely for the martial arts fans and the kung fu fans, there's a huge amount. We've got Jet Li, we've got Michelle Yeoh, we have all the top people fighting in it and doing their own style and everything else. So it's going to be a real martial arts movie mixed with CGI, mixed with major league action. So it's got everything, I think, for the fans.
Now, speaking of the fans, do you find that today's audiences, because they've been brought with so many blockbusters, multi-million-dollar special effects, that they demand for better and bigger action set pieces? How are you going to meet that kind of expectation?
I think the history of filmmaking has always been bigger and better from Harold Lloyd onwards. And sometimes bigger is not better, originality is better. There are so many different ways of improving movies, and everything has been done before. We're very lucky to have the value of CGI working with us, whereas we can take out flying wires, snatch cables, full rigs, pads. That's one of the bonuses of computer-generated images. But in this instance, we've also got characters that are in it, but we've also taken a lot of trouble in this movie, Mummy 3, that we've done a lot of photography of images, and everything that you see move in this movie will be moving realistically because it's modelled on a human's movement rather than just a computer's deciding what the action's going to be.
Now, speaking about originality, as a stuntman, you set the Olympic gold standard for stunts, right? As far as, starting from Indiana Jones and so on. How do you think today's real-life stunts compare to those CGI, green screen, blue screen kind of stunt work? Is there any comparison there?
I think there's still a great amount of stunt work done today. The older films and things, Yakima Canutt and Harold Lloyd and people like that before us did fantastic physical stunts. They weren't lucky enough to have the crutch, if you like, of CGI to help them. But at the end of the day, you still have to do stunts. You still have to hit the ground and bounce, albeit we can hide maybe the surface of the road or a cable that's going to help you bounce higher. We can't just rely on video stunts, because otherwise it will look like a video game. Unfortunately, I do think a lot of the world has been brought up now on video games, PlayStations and so forth, where the unreal is accepted. I like to keep my action grounded in reality and just maybe stretch it 10–15% because we are talking about movies. I think expectations are very, very high nowadays, but not just for visual explosions and thousands of people appearing in a battlefield. You still have to have the human element and the human action, and see people hitting the ground and interacting with one another to make it, for me, successful action.
So for Mummy 3 then, did you have any trick up your sleeve that you pulled out just for this one?
every movie you try and become original, you try and get the most exciting action you can, variation on a theme. I think we've done one of the best chases I've done for many, many years on this movie. We've done a four-horse chariot chase through the streets of old 1946 Shanghai. But I have to say, the original vision was not mine. All action is a combination of everybody's views. Rob Cohen came up with the initial concept, and then it was pre-visualized, and then it was storyboarded, and then my job was to come and translate those storyboards and pre-visualization into the actual streets that we're working with, and what can physically be achieved with cameras and human beings. They didn't want to cheat and have abnormal moves, people doing abnormal things. The only thing that's abnormal in our chase is the fact that the horses are bronze. They're the Emperor's horses that come to life, and I think that will be a bonus, because we're not trying to make them look like real horses. But everything the horses touch, everything associated with the chase is all real apart from that. So it's a combination of a lot of people's hard work and vision, and first and foremost, I've got to say Rob Cohen, he's got fantastic vision.
Now, speaking about people, how do you actually find working in China?
I love working in China because of the scale of everything that can be achieved here. The Chinese crews are great, they're very, very experienced nowadays. My first movie was 22 years ago in Guangzhou, Taipan, and then 20 years ago I did Empire of the Sun, and then 2 or 3 years ago I did Mission Impossible, and I've seen an amazing improvement socially and technically in China, and there's nowhere in the world that you could come to that has the facilities that we've had here. Just look around you. It's so cleverly built. All these stages are disguised as the exteriors are different warehouses, streets. Huge street we got there to work on. It was just phenomenal set to work in. Everywhere you pointed the camera was sensational looking.
Speaking of exteriors, Mummy 3 has covered a huge amount of terrain. Can you tell us about what you went to mountains and deserts, and what have you covered?
Yeah, Mummy 3 is set in the Himalayas, so we obviously have to achieve the Himalaya look. There's a lot of photography still to be done yet, probably in northern British Columbia, to simulate the Himalayas, because access to the real Himalayas is pretty impossible. We've been to the north of Beijing, to Tianmo, which is a fantastic location, a desert location, but you've got the original Great Wall there, which is a mud wall originally. We've been to Turfan, which is near Mongolia. It's got a really great range of superb locations, and then of course we've got the streets of 1946 Shanghai, which is exceptional, I must say. There's nobody in the world could afford to build this anywhere except here. It's a phenomenal place.
Okay, one last thing. Any final words for the Mummy fans out there, the millions and millions of fans out there?
Well, I've got a website, and Rob Cohen's got a website, and I must say the interest is phenomenal. I had over 17,000 hits one day on my website, so there's a huge amount of Mummy 3 fans out there, and I can put my hand on my heart and promise you, you're not going to be disappointed with this one. You're going to have Jet Li, Michelle Yeoh, Isabel Yong, Russell Wong, all my stunt crew, Rob Cohen, some fantastic visual effects, but a huge amount of physical effects, and I think this is going to be the best Mummy yet.